Hey everyone, my name's McKenna, also known as Sylphic Studios, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I'm back with a super exciting video because I am finally done with my commissions, so this is the first of my 5 commissions that I'll be showing you guys. Well, actually 4 of the 5 are done, my 5th one I'm just waiting on the shoes to come in the mail that I'm gonna use, but yeah, all of them are done and I'm super excited to show you guys them. So since I've made 5 dolls, that means I'll be having back-to-back custom videos for the next month or so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. So without further ado, if you clicked on this video, you already know exactly who we're making, but we are making the Frontman from Squid Game. If you're familiar with my content, you would know I've already made a Thanos doll in the past for my little sister for her birthday, so of course I need to make the Frontman too. I honestly really love him as a character, so whenever I saw this submission for my commissions, that rhymed, I just knew that I had to make him. My commissioner did request him without his mask, so he will be maskless. So if you're wondering why you can see his face, it's because we want to see his face. But with all that yapping out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the customizing, starting with prepping. So for this custom, I decided to use G3 Heath from Monster High. If you're familiar with my content, you know that I primarily work on G3 Monster High, and there's only 3 male monster sculpts as of right now. Hopefully we'll have 4 soon because Gil is getting teased, but that's besides the point. Mattel, please give us Gil. But anyway, for this doll I decided to use Deuce because I felt like he fit Frontman's features the best. Holy crap, I'm tripping over my words so bad. But of course, to start the process, I went ahead and boiled him in some water just to remove his hair and to get the snakes a little bit loose, so that we can completely remove them from his head. And this was honestly way easier than I thought it'd be after I struggled really hard to get Heath's hair off of his head. Or his fire, rather. I was expecting this to be more of a pain, but I honestly just went at it with my pliers here and just pulled it off until all of the glue came off. I did have to put his head back in the boiling water just to soften his head up a little bit, but besides that, it was just a game of pulling on his snakes until they came off of his head. And he had the same thing going on with his head as Heath did, where there's like this little peg that's actually attached to the inside of the head there, as you can see, so I just had to pull it off. And this is what his head is looking like. As you can see, he has a ton of holes that we're going to need to fill. So to fill those holes, we'll be using 2-part epoxy sculpts. This stuff, in my experience, is the best for like doll modification work, just because it's super sturdy and adheres to the plastic and the vinyl super well. And it also air dries, which is a big thing with dolls because you don't want to put oven baked clay into the oven on a doll, like that'll just melt the plastic. So epoxy sculpt is my best friend when it comes to doll modifications. So after I took all of his hair off, or his snakes off, and I saw all of these holes, my plan of attack was to just fill them in individually with smaller pieces of clay, and then go over the top of those with a bigger flattened piece of clay, so that's exactly what I did. So I'm just taking tiny pieces and shoving it in there and flattening it as much as I possibly can, and then I'm taking this bigger piece that I flattened out and just putting it over top. And this was the second time that I've done like head modification work like this. The first one was for Thanos. So there probably could have been like a better way for me to do this, but this worked perfectly fine. And I'm really happy with the results, so I recommend doing this if you need to fill in doll heads. After flattening it out for a little bit, this is what it looked like. Epoxy sculpt does need a while to dry, so I sat this to the side for about 24 hours and then sanded it the next day. To sand his head down, I was going between these sanding blocks and my Dremel tool that you see right there. The goal here was to just flatten everything out and smooth it out as much as possible. Theoretically, you don't need the smoothest base or like the nicest base or anything because you will be gluing hair wefts on top of this anyway. But of course, I'm a perfectionist and I made sure his head was as round as I could possibly get it. I don't want him to have a gamer dent in his head. After I gave him the smoothest head known to mankind, it was time to get into the body repaint. So guys, I have a confession to make. I unfortunately did not record his body repaint. I apologize, please forgive me. I honestly don't even remember why. I'm pretty sure I tried recording it, but I just don't have the recording on my phone, so I'm sorry. If you're curious on how I do body repaints, I have a lot of other videos on that, so you can go and watch those. But at least I have the face repaint, right? Best YouTuber ever. But anyway, as you can see, I am just destroying Deuce's face in the background with my acetone. I personally prefer to do my face repaints and like my face ups themselves after I do the body repaint. I like to attach the head after the body repaint is already done, if that makes sense. Because when I'm repainting the body, I like the ease of just being able to hold on to like the neck plug and not having to touch the body. So if I had the head on, I wouldn't be able to do that. And then when the head is attached to the body, I don't have to worry about the paint cracking or anything from me having to reattach it or anything. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if it does. You guys can do it in whatever order you prefer. But if you guys have ever wondered why I do the body repaint first, attach the head, and then repaint the head and all of that, that is the reason why. So as you can see, I'm just painting his skin tone in very thin layers here. I always water down my acrylic paint a little bit. That's like the number one thing when repainting dolls, because if you don't water it down, it'll just be way too thick and you can see your paint strokes. So always make sure you water it down a little bit. Really the only time that I don't water my paint down is whenever I'm painting scalps like this, or just anything where the paint thickness doesn't really matter. Since the scalp paint is going to be covered up anyway with hair, you really don't have to worry about the streaks. So I always just take my paint bottle, shake it up a little bit, and then use the paint that's on the inside of the cap. And I'm just following along the hairline that I made him here. After I repainted his scalp, he looked like this. He's looking pretty fly. So I took him outside and sprayed him with a layer of MSC to prep him for the next step, which is the face up. So as always, to start out my face ups, I'm just taking my mechanical pencil and sketching out all of his features. I personally always start with the right eye. I don't really know why, that's just what I'm comfortable with. And once I get that initial kind of line down, I go and work on both sides simultaneously. I find that this is the easiest way for me to get my eyes and all my features symmetrical. But I know for some people it is a lot better if you do one whole side completely and then try to replicate it. It's just whatever works for you. But for me, my brain doesn't work like that. I need to take it step by step. After I sketched out all of his features, this is what he was looking like. This is the second male doll that I've ever done. So I'm still trying to find my footing and like my style when it comes to male face-ups. But I will say I am really happy with how this face-up turned out. I think that he looks really good. You guys will have to just wait a minute or two to see that. But yeah, here I am just deepening up his eyes with some powder. I always switch between eyeshadow and actual soft pastels, but I've heard recently that eyeshadow can fade over time, or it can have a reaction over time because they have oils in it. I don't know how true that is. But to be on the safe side, I am trying to use more pastels rather than eyeshadow. For some colors, I don't have them pastels, so I just use my eyeshadows. I haven't seen any issues or had any issues personally with that, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up if you guys do decide to use eyeshadow on your dolls. My best tip just to avoid any potential future issues is to just seal it as best as you can with Mr. Super Clear. But that's just a given though. You should be sealing all of your dolls as good as you can because you don't want to lose all of your hard work. If you don't have access to Mr. Super Clear, I know that Bossy Flat Clear works just as well. My friend Amber uses that for her customs. Unfortunately, with doll customizing though, the sealants are really important, and Mr. Super Clear is one of the only ones that work properly because it gives your dolls that gritty texture that allows your colored pencils and all of your stuff to actually stick to it. But like I said, my friend Amber uses Bossy Flat Clear and she doesn't have any issues with it from what I've been told, so that's another substitution. But anywho, after I added all the details to his eyes, this is what his finished face-up was looking like. I am in love with how he turned out. I just had to make his eye catch lights a Squid Game triangle. But now that he finally has a face, it's time to give him some hair, so it's time for his yarn wefts. So I went ahead and prepped his yarn wefts and brushed everything out off camera just because I felt like that can get pretty redundant. I have a couple videos up already showing how I do yarn wefts, and I'll have a tutorial coming soon on that for Custom Doll 101. But for now, this is how I glue my wefts down. I just take a heap of Mod Podge, put it on my mat here, put some hair in the middle, and sandwich it between more Mod Podge. And the more Mod Podge, the better, because you want to make sure that there's glue getting through every single hair. You can use a different glue if you'd like. I've seen people use hot glue, I've seen people use tacky glue. You can use anything. I actually used to use tacky glue, but then I found that Mod Podge is just way easier to use. So I recommend that if you can get your hands on it. Especially because I use Mod Podge in a lot of other steps in my doll customizing process, so if you guys do make dolls like me, you'll probably already have it. And I just repeated this step of gluing them all down until all of my hair wefts were made. And to make my wefts, I tied them around a crochet hook, and I made 2 crochet hooks worth of hair, if that makes sense. I always make more hair than I think I'll need just to be on the safe side because it's the worst feeling ever trying to make a head of hair and then getting to like the end and realizing you don't have enough wefts. So in my experience, I'd rather be safer than sorry. This is what my platter of hair wefts looked like after I was done. So now it's time to actually glue them on the head, and this part I recorded but it was entirely out of frame, so I just cut it out. I'm so sorry. It's surprisingly really hard to keep these things in frame when you're trying to record yourself doing them. But anyway, I thought that he was serving Fabio realness right there. I don't know if you guys saw it. But after I was done appreciating his long hair, it was time for me to cut it, and this made me so sad. Not even sad, I was just fearful, honestly, because it's really scary to put a lot of time into these wefts and have them all glued on the head, and then just to know that you could cut them wrong and for all of that work to just go down the drain. It's scary. But luckily, I think I ate with this hairstyle. I love how it turned out. This was my first time doing short male hair like this, so I was really scared to go at it, but I think that it turned out really good. I've done male hair once before for my Thanos doll, but that was a completely different style and technique. So both of these hairs were completely different processes, and they both taught me a lot of different techniques, if I'm honest. So yeah, TLDR, I have no idea what I was doing with this hairstyle. I kind of just kept cutting at it, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I didn't get a full ending clip of his hair, so this is the closest that we're gonna get here. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, my commissioner requested the hairstyle that he has in his tracksuit outfit, not his frontman hairstyle. So that's why we're doing messy hair and not his slick back hair. But anyway, now that his hair is done, it's time to get into the final part, which is his clothing. So for his clothes, I'm following this clothing pattern from Delightful. She is the absolute GOAT. Like, her patterns on Etsy are so good. If you guys haven't checked them out, go check them out, please. She has so many different patterns, and they're all sized for different body types and different dolls, which is so nice. So if you guys want literally the greatest patterns of all time, go check out Delightful's Etsy. I'll have it in the description below. Obviously not sponsored or anything, she's just the GOAT. And I wanted to share this actual gold mine with you guys. So anyway, to start things off, as you saw, I got this t-shirt from the thrift store that I of course washed first, because the fabric honestly felt perfect for his outfit. So I just cut out my pattern pieces, and I'm finally using my sewing machine, guys. Be proud of me, I'm finally using it. I've had this sewing machine for a while, but it's just been in the most inconvenient spot ever, so I just haven't wanted to use it. But I finally decided to whip it out, and I'm so happy I did, because guys, the quality of these clothes I've been making, like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but they are so good. I'm so happy with how this outfit came out. I don't have a lot of footage of me actually making it, but this is the full outfit. And I forgot to mention I added a hood to his jacket. The hood is from another one of Delightful's patterns. And his shoes are Claude's shoes from the Holiday Valentine's Day 2-pack with Draculaura. And they were honestly already perfect, so I didn't do any mods to them. But with that being said, he is finally all complete, so let's get ready for his reveal. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this week's YouTube video. I am so unbelievably excited to finally be able to show you guys all of the dolls I've been working on the past like 2 months. It's been so hard trying to keep them a secret, so I am so excited to finally spill the beans. Especially Frontman, I was super excited to show him to you guys, especially after the response that I got for my Thanos doll. I know you guys had a lot to say about his stand. I promise that was because it wouldn't fit over him, but I somehow managed to get this stand to fit Frontman. But you guys will not bully me out of the coochie gripper stands. Unfortunately, sometimes they're just the only stands that work for dolls. But that's a topic for another day. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this far, and an extra special thank you to Abigail for commissioning this doll for me. I had a lot of fun putting him together for you, and he was definitely a labor of love, so I hope you really love him. As I'm recording this voiceover, he's already been shipped off to his new home, so I'm super excited to see him get there all safe and sound. But like I said earlier, I have 4 other dolls already lined up to post this next month, so I hope you guys are excited for those. I have a couple of OCs that I made, as well as a couple other special people. So if you're interested in seeing those, I highly recommend subscribing to the channel and following me on all of my other social medias. They'll be linked below. And with that being said, if you'd like to support me and get some extra special benefits, I do have a Patreon that will be linked in the description. You get early YouTube video viewing and more behind the scenes content over there, plus a couple other benefits, so if you're interested in supporting me, I will have that linked below. And as always, a huge thank you to my patrons over there: Pumpkin Tushy, Morgan, Samuel, Daisy, Lisa, Kiara Y Coconuts, Titus Zuraf, Arturo Ayala, Ali Neal, Brooklyn Budgie, and Neka Kulo and ARL. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. I love you guys so much. It really means the world to me that you support my art over there. But with that, I think that that's it for this week's YouTube video. I don't think there's anything else I want to address or bring up right now. So again, thank you guys so much for all of your constant love and support. You guys are the reason I'm able to do this. If I could pick all of you an individual flower and hand it to you, I would, but unfortunately that's not possible. So instead, I will be doing a doll giveaway, but more info on that coming soon. Go follow me on Instagram for more updates on that. I'm sorry for the whispering, I needed to do that. I don't know if you're still listening at this point. If anyone's still listening at this point, thank you so much. I love you. I should probably do my outro spiel now, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys are having a good morning, night, evening, or whatever it is wherever you are. And I'll see you guys in next week's video.